How's it going, guys? It's your boy Raf, and welcome to one of the very kind of first few videos I'm actually talking about film, because that's the topic for today. So recently, about a few weeks ago, I picked up my very first film camera, and I'm absolutely in love with it. Like, I kind of jumped on this film photography wagon, which it seems like a lot of people are. A lot of people go back to analog now, and it's becoming kind of a bit of a trend now, and I'm guilty for kind of joining with the hype, but I'm kind of in love with it, and there's a few reasons why I'm in love with this camera. It's quite costly to shoot, and there is few reasons why I ended up choosing this over my digital camera. And as I got my very first film developed and sent back from me, I'm in love with the results. So I'll be showing you some of the photos I got developed and sent back from me, as also I talk about this camera. So hopefully you enjoy those pictures. Let me know what you think about film photography. So one of the very first sorts of reasons why I wanted to get into film photography is being able to shoot on a full frame for a fraction of the price, really. And it's a bit of a weird one, because at the moment I'm shooting with my GH5, which is a micro four thirds sensor. It's amazing for videos, and I absolutely love it for this. Like, everything it does, I can have this, but however on the photo side it really sucks. Like, the pictures it takes, they are not really that best. I've tried playing with it, but it's just very pixelated sometimes, so the results from my GH5s for photo will be crap, especially since it's twice the size, like twice zoomed in than a normal full frame sensor. So any lens I stick on it, like if I put a 50mm, it will be equivalent of 100mm. But then I have a speed booster which will de-squeeze that by 0.71, so in reality my 50mm will be a 71mm lens. So I think that's why I kind of ended up picking a film camera, for the sake of being able to shoot full frame for less than £100, which is amazing and like incredible. The second reason I ended up picking one of those bad boys is trying to learn photography. I'm learning photography for the sake of my videography, because I've noticed what I tend to do with my video projects. I tend to focus too much on camera movement to kind of get me where I want. And if I look on any films which are shot pretty much everywhere, like in Hollywood and stuff, there is rarely any camera movement, because everything is in the story, right? And I feel like small time creators like me and quite a lot of people, they kind of forget about this, that it's not your fancy camera movement, it is the story which is the key to success. And if you look at any frames in a movie, if you actually take a screenshot of it, it could be an image, right? Because it's so well composed. And therefore I've recently talked to heart how to get good at videography is by getting good at photography, because with your photography you need to have a perfect composition, white balance, and everything else which comes to it. And it's kind of, those two worlds are so different and yet they're so alike. So in the world of skiing, I've been really learning from photographers to kind of apply stuff like this into my videography, and hence why I picked up one of those bad boys to kind of get myself into this world of photography. And it's much easier to learn from photography when you're shooting on film, because considering it's only less than £100 to pick up one of those film cameras, they are very cheap. Each shot will count, like it will cost you, unlike digital. So with digital, if you spend, let's say, 500 up to £1,000, everything else, like after you get your memory card, everything you shoot is free, because it only saves up a digital file onto your SD card and you're good to go. With film, it's a bit of a different game, and every shot you take will cost you money. So even though you pick up a camera for cheap, you'll need to buy your film, and film at the moment is quite expensive. So I got my first 5 rolls of Portra 160, which is quite a very common film. I ended up not going for Portra 400, which is pretty much one of the most common film, because I thought to myself that shooting at 400 iOS is going to be a bit too difficult when I'm shooting outside, mainly in direct sun. So I ended up going with 160, and it costed me about £56 for 5 rolls of Portra 160, which comes up to about £10, over £10 for a single roll. So it is quite expensive, and then you get 36 shots for a single roll, and then it costs you to develop the film. You could go 2 ways about developing a film. One of them is either develop yourself at home. In that case, you'll need to invest in getting a scanner, which could be, I think the cheapest I found is about £200, which everyone seems to recommend. And then on top of your chemicals and the knowledge and all the bottles you need as well. So all the equipment will be up front of about £250–260 just to develop your film and scan it. So you could either go that way, or you could just send it to a lab like I did for the first time, because I don't want to have this initial investment of £200–300 for something I would probably not enjoy later down the line, if that's the case. So as for now, I kind of send it off to the lab, and it costed me £7 per roll to develop. So I spent about £25–26 to, like, with the shipping and stuff, to develop my 3 rolls of film. It kind of adds up to quite a lot of money over time to get my images actually sent back to me and actually see the results. It is expensive, and therefore it really matters what's in front of your frame. So before you shoot, you actually need to think, is that the shot I want? And like with digital, you're probably easily, it's so much easier to just burst as many shots. And I've seen so many photographers just kind of going through the motion of taking each pose and kind of taking about 1,000 of photos per single shot, like shoot. And it's just crazy, because then they have to go through all those pictures, and like they're basically betting against odds as to, out of those 1,000 photos, there will be at least few of them that will turn up well. With film, you can't really afford that. You can't go through 20–30 rolls for a single shoot, because the price to develop it and to go through it is going to be extortionate. So with film, you need to really think, is your composition on point? Is the subject in front of you the way you want them to be? And it kind of all adds up, really. And that's why I've recently been enjoying film, because it makes you think what you're taking photo of before you actually take the photo off. One of the cool advantages to shooting film is the film aesthetics, and like being able to experiment with film. So like getting different film stocks, because each film stock will be different. They will have, because since digital cameras, everything is, all the work is in sensor and the lens, right? With film, it of course, like all the image kind of comes from the lens, but most of the work is being done by the film itself. So it doesn't really matter what sorts of a film camera you have, because most of it comes down to film itself. So if you have a poor quality film, you shoot on, like you could be shooting on the best film camera, it doesn't really matter, because the pictures will be shit. So that's why being able to choose the right film for your film camera is quite important, but also it also important so many doors as to shooting film and like experimenting, like playing with different films. So I've literally just been going on YouTube and like typing up different films and to see what they look like before I even buy it, and then play it with myself, play with them myself, and it's just such a cool experience to go through. And probably the last point I would probably want to make why I picked up one of those bad boys is for the bodies of the film, because there is just such a vibe to it, and I can't really pinpoint it where, but there is more character to a film camera, depending what type of era you bought it from. I haven't bought like a fully automatic one. I kind of bought one where most of it you do it by yourself, and it's so cool to just even hear the shutter speed, like, or just a shutter click, and like advance the lever, like being able to advance it, like just do this. The emotions of shooting film is so nostalgic, and it just brings you so much satisfaction every time you take that photo. It's something I'll kind of carry on experimenting. It's only early days for me. I've probably been shooting film for about a month. I went through a few rolls already. I'm on my 4th roll of Portra 160. I shot two black and white films, so I'm kind of playing with it, and I'm really loving it. And the images I've been getting, as you've probably been seeing through the videos, are somewhat unique. There is character to each of them, and I think that's why I love it. As also with film, you get happy accidents sometimes where you get light leaks or light flares coming through, which is something really unique about shooting film, and I think that's why I love it, you know. And I think that's why I'll carry on doing it, even though I've never really been a photography fan. Like, I've never really wanted to pick up a camera and shoot photos. For some reason, it's just not really my thing. I love shooting like videos, making adverts, making music videos. That's my sort of vibe. I just love editing those sorts of footage. And then I never really thought of like doing photography as a side to this. It's just not really been my thing until I wanted to improve my videography, and that's when I ended up picking one of those bad boys and kind of fell in love with it, really. So if you've never shot film, I would definitely advise anyone to dip their feet in this, because everything is such a journey, because like learning how to even load the film, and like what to do, and like everything with it, like it's been such a new experience. So I've been learning so much about it, and I absolutely love it. I've met so many people just by shooting film. I've joined a lot of Clubhouse groups, which recently Clubhouse has been a big part of my life as well, where I just join those audio chat rooms, and I've been talking about like a specific topic with other people, and a lot of times I find myself just joining film photography sort of rooms, and I just join in and talk about film and share the passion with it. And that's what it is about, like sharing that love and passion about your hobby with other people which are in kind of the same field. So enough of the rambles anyways. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and if you learned something, you know, and if you're looking to get a film camera yourself, definitely do it. It's such a interesting field to get into, and for a price you get into it, like you can pick up a film camera easily under £100 at the moment. So just look into it and just go with it. You know, you can learn so much. Share your experience. Let me know in your comment section, what do you think of film photography? Have you tried it before? If you have, just share the experience. I would love to hear from you. And yeah, it's been rough. You enjoy your day, and see you in the next one.